Assalamu alaikum. This is Btv-Chattogram welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. Appeals against cancellation of candidature in parliament elections accepted for third day to continue till January 9th. Election Commission pledges to organize impartial and peaceful election, says Election Commissioner Sanaullah. Tribunal 1 fixes January 11th for hearing of framing charges against Sajib Wajid Joy and Junaid Ahmed Polok on 3 charges during July uprising. Venezuela handing over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the United States, says U.S. President Donald Trump. And Dhaka Capitals trounced Noakhali Express by 7 wickets in BPL. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. Today is the third day for filing appeals by aggrieved aspirant candidates against the decision of returning officers regarding the acceptance or rejection of nomination papers in the upcoming 13th national parliamentary election. As of yesterday, 122 appeal applications had been submitted to the Election Commission. This brings the total number of appeals filed over the past 2 days to 164. The information was disclosed by the Election Commissioner's central booth after the conclusion of the second day of appeal application intake at the election building in Agargaon, the capital. On the final day of scrutiny on January 4th, returning officers or assistant to returning officers in 300 constituencies declared 1,842 nomination papers valid out of a total of 2,568 submitted, while the candidacy of 723 candidates was rejected. According to the election schedule, the submission of appeal applications will continue until January 9th. Election Commissioner Abul Fazl Muhammad Sanaullah has said that the 13th national parliamentary election will be different from all previous polls. He said the government has emphasized on the participation of young voters and expatriates in the upcoming election. Observer organizations have also been informed of this, and they have been urged to help ensure a free, fair, and peaceful election by learning from past faults. The Election Commissioner made the remarks this afternoon while inaugurating a workshop for election observers at the NGO Affairs Bureau office in the capital's Agargaon. Mohammed Sanaullah said the government is bringing more than 15 lakh expatriate voters under the voting process through postal ballots. Representatives of 81 registered observer organizations participated in the workshop. International Crimes Tribunal (ICT) has deferred the hearing of charges framing to 11th January in a case against Sajib Wajid Joy and Junaid Ahmed Polok, which includes 3 charges including issuing orders to shut down the internet and to carry out killings during the July mass uprising. The ICT one passed the order today. Earlier, on 4th December, the prosecution submitted formal charges against the 2 accused, and ICT one took into cognizance. At the same time, an arrest warrant was issued against Sajib Wajid Joy. Subsequently, despite a newspaper notice published on 10th December, Joy failed to appear before the tribunal. As a result, on 17th December, the tribunal appointed a state defense lawyer on this behalf. Meanwhile, in the same tribunal, testimony was recorded in a separate crimes against humanity case over the killing of 2 people during the July uprising, including Amir Hussain, who was shot while hanging from a cornice in Rampura in the capital. The defense cross-examined the investigation officer Abdur Rauf. On the other hand, an ICD-2 camera trial testimony was recorded for the fifth consecutive day in a crimes against humanity case involving three specific charges, including the killing of 6 people in Kushtia during the July uprising. The case names Mahmoud al-Abi Hanif and 3 others as accused. Later in the day, the defense lawyers cross-examined investigation officer Ruhul Amin for the second day in the case over the killing of Abu Said, a student from Rangpur and the first martyr of the July movement. In all these cases, 8 accused who are currently in custody were produced before the tribunals this morning. BNP Standing Committee member Amir Khosrow Mohammad Chaudhry has said that national leader Begum Khaleda Zia, enriched with the qualities of leadership and motherhood, wanted to deliver the benefits of development to every person in the country. He made the remarks at a condolence meeting and Dua Mahfil organized by Zia Porishad in memory of the late BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia, held at the Qazi Nazrul Islam Auditorium of the National Press Club in the capital. The event was presided over by the acting chairman of Zia Porishad, Professor Dr. Muhammad Abdul Latif, BNP chairperson's advisor Said Muazzam Hussain Alal, Vice Chairman of the organization Professor Dr. Muhammad Mujibur Rahman Hawladar, M. Zohir Ali, and Secretary General Professor Dr. Imdad Hussain also spoke at the program. Amir Khosrow said that Begum Zia instilled courage in the nation and by taking a stand against hegemony, never compromised on anything from beginning to end, even at the cost of her own life. He added that millions of people attended her funeral prayers, which reflected the people's affection and love for Begum Khaleda Zia. Now, international news. U.S. President Donald Trump has said Venezuela will be turning over up to 50 million barrels of oil worth about $2.8 billion to the U.S. after a military operation to remove President Nicolas Maduro from power. The oil will be sold at its market price, Trump posted on social media, adding he would control the money raised and use it to benefit the people of Venezuela and the U.S. His comments come after the said U.S. oil industry would be up and running in Venezuela within 18 months, and that he expected huge investments to pour into the country. Condemnation of the abduction of Maduro continues to grow as the United Nations Security Council, including U.S. allies, condemn Washington's actions. Meanwhile, Venezuela's interim leader, Delcy Rodriguez, said no foreign agent is running Venezuela despite Trump's repeated claims that he is in charge of the country. U.S. President Donald Trump has been discussing a range of options to acquire Greenland, including the use of the military. The White House told the BBC that acquiring Greenland, a semi-autonomous region of fellow NATO member Denmark, was a national security priority. The statement came hours after European leaders issued a joint statement rallying behind Denmark. They also called for upholding the principles of the UN Charter, including sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the inviolability of borders. Trump repeated over the weekend that the U.S. needed Greenland for security reasons, prompting Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen to warn that any attack by the U.S. would spell the end of NATO. Israeli army forces staged 3 incursions into the Quneitra countryside in southern Syria on Tuesday, in a new violation of the Arab Republic's sovereignty, local media reported. The Syrian Arab news agency said another Israeli force consisting of 12 military vehicles moved into the village of Saida al-Hanaut through the Talabu Gaitar crossing before moving along the road to the village of Ruzania and onward to Saida al-Golan. The incursions came despite an official announcement that a new round of negotiations between Damascus and Tel Aviv has begun under U.S. mediation, focusing on reviving the 1974 disarrangement agreement. After the fall of the Bashar al-Assad regime, Israel expanded its occupation of the Syrian Golan Heights by seizing the dematerialized buffer zone, a move that violated a 1974 agreement with Syria. Now, sports news. Cricket. The Dhaka Capitals secured a dominant 7-wicket victory over the struggling Noakhali Express in match 15 of the Bangladesh Premier League at the Sylhet International Cricket Stadium. Nasser Hussain powered the Capitals to a comfortable chase, who remained unbeaten on 90 runs off just 50 balls. Batting first, the Noakhali Express were off to a shaky start, losing early wickets and struggling to build partnerships. They crawled to 133 for 6 in their allotted 20 overs. Crucial contributions came from their captain Haider Ali, 47 off 36 balls, and Mohammad Nobi, 42 not out of 33 balls. The Dhaka bowlers were disciplined, with the overseas spinner Imad Wasim proving economical and taking a wicket, while Hassan Mahmood grabbed 2 wickets. In response, the Dhaka Capitals suffered a couple of early jolts, but the innings was quickly taken charge of by the brilliant Nasser Hussain. Batting at number 3, Hussain displayed a masterclass in T20 batting, hitting 14 fours and 2 sixes to demoralize the Noakhali bowlers. He was well supported by a quick-fire, unbeaten 29 off 16 balls from Imad Wasim, as they finished the game swiftly in the 15th over, winning by 7 wickets.